guys, Tracy here and welcome to another episode of Scraproom Sunday. Today I'm going to show you how I store my paper die cuts as well as my chipboard die cuts and stickers as well. So you are looking at two drawers of a two drawer unit from the Recollections cubed storage units that you can buy at Michael's, and they come in a whole bunch of different varieties. I have lots of the 3-drawer units and shelving units and that sort of thing. Right here I have a 2-drawer unit, and the 2-drawer unit comes with 2 drawers. They're deeper than the drawers in the 3-drawer unit, obviously, and they also come with these dividers and inside of them. So you can use these dividers. I have taken a lot of them out, so you're supposed to put them so that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going this way and probably 6 going that way too. The way that I do it though is I leave every second one of them out, and then I just use one here to hold it, and I put one right here just to hold these ones in place so they don't move around too much. I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense, but this is what the drawer ends up looking like. So this is one place that I store my die cut and chipboard pieces, and then this is another one just below it is where some of my older chipboard pieces are. And then another place that I store them is in this gray drawer unit, which is actually 2 3-drawer units. They're modified. So these 3 came with a lid like this on it, and then another 3 came with another lid on it, and I took it all apart and put it back together to make it into a 5-drawer plastic unit. And I do that all the time with those sorts of things, and I use the extra drawers in other places. So I'm going to put you on the tripod and show you what I've got. Okay, so here's the contents of that drawer that I just showed you, and I just want to show you how I keep my die cut paper pieces first of all. And so you get a lot of these things in packages. You can buy them, like this is the Amy Tangerine Ready Set Go, and I also threw in a bunch of other Amy Tangerine stuff just because I find Amy Tangerine stuff is pretty similar. So this is Ready Set Go, and it might also be Sketchbook, and this is Amy Tangerine Yes Please. And so I just put them in these clear containers, and I'll talk about those in a second, and then I just label them with a piece of washi tape so I know what collection they come from. And I have the Crepe Paper DIY and Maggie Holmes original collection are all together. Even though this makes it really full, I find that these 2 collections are so similar in terms of the colors and the kinds of items in them that I like to keep them together. I have Dear Lizzie Lucky Charm right here, and I have some October afternoon ones. 9 to 5 Woodland Park, Cakewalk, and Travel Girl are all together in here because they all seem to have similar kind of shades of color. And I have the basic gray Knee Highs and Hey You die cuts in here. And I seem to have, hey, this should probably go in here. I just haven't done that yet, so I'll put those in a later time. So I have collections of die cut pieces, and if I get a collection in a kit or something, I will just put it in, I will either make a new container or, well, at this point I would have to make a new container. I had a container that was just kind of miscellaneous, but I made it into, I think, this. So yeah, I basically don't have room here for any more collections of die cut pieces, so I would have to use some before I'm allowed to buy any more. In these back drawers are kind of miscellaneous, mostly chipboard. So these, I think these were from Pebbles or something ages and ages ago. And I have some of these Maya Road cameras that are vellum. Some more little die cut pieces from Maya Road, some more die cut chipboard. These are wood veneers in neon colors. They're all butterflies. And then I have these little frames from October Afternoon as well. These are really cute. I love the colors of these. So those are what I have in just those back little cubbies that you can just barely see. And then here I'll talk about that in a minute because that's complicated. But basically I have two kinds of clear containers here. I have, these ones are from the dollar store. They're the, what do you call them? They're kind of like Ziploc boxes, but they're really, really, really much cheaper. So they're made to only use a couple times and throw away. They're not made for like, they're not like Tupperware, but they're made for storing and serving food in. And I like that they're see-through, so I can kind of see how much is in, and I can kind of have a look at the shades. So October Afternoon has lots of creamy colors, so I have all of their collections all together in here. Then the other, so that and that are those containers. Then the other kind of container I have here is the Stampin' Up! Boxes that they put their wooden stamps in. I don't even know if they still sell these boxes for their wooden stamps, but basically these are nice thin. They're thinner than this, so I'd rather have all of these, but I only had 3 of them, so I used the 3 I had, and then I use these for the rest. And each of these slots fits 2, like one of these and one of these nicely, but I couldn't put 2 of these, I don't think. No, they won't fit. So, and I just leave them here with the names up so I can grab what I go. And the reason I store these this way is that usually when I'm scrapbooking, if I feel like I need something, I usually think by color and by manufacturer, which is kind of funny because I never thought I would think that way, but I always think like I know if I don't want October Afternoon, if it's something white, then most of these are creamy and they're not gonna go. Basic Gray has kind of like a funky sassafras type of feel to it, and it has lots of bold blacks and geometric shapes. So usually I know if I want something like that. Amy Tangerine has a real bold, sketchy kind of look to it, and certain colors that are throughout all of her collections. So I always know when I want one of these two. And Crepe Paper has kind of like a real vintage look to their ephemera. And Dear Lizzie Lucky Charm is very pastel-y and soft, and I actually rarely reach for these. So that is how it goes. Oh, and I also have some Fifth and Frolic from Dear Lizzie too, which I can just put into there. And I would mix these. I'm not going to keep these separate for a reason. I'll just put those in there, take the bag off, and put Lucky Charm, and then put Fifth and Frolic on here too. So I don't need to know which is from which collection. I just need to know what I want to grab for. So that's how I do my paper die cuts, and that come in collections. And then if you're wondering what's over here, these are mostly all those sheets of Studio Calico stickers. So there's and there's a lot of chipboard in here. So there's these arrows, there's these stars, and I just stuck this sheet of rub-on stars because they're kind of similar and I think I would use them together, so I just stuck those in there. And then these DIY like mistable arrows and stars, and I've got hexagons, and these are all kind of like, they have similar types of packaging and they're almost all the same size. So I've got a whole bunch of them. They're all made by Studio Calico. Oh, I also have some Daily Flash arrows in here. So they're all the shapes that I tend to pick to reach for a lot. There are some cameras in here too, which I don't use all that often. Some of both kinds of cameras, the cork and the mistable ones. And so these are kind of the icons that are popular right now and that I tend to grab for a lot. So speech bubbles, stars, hexagons, stars, and arrows, and that sort of thing. And I don't find myself reaching into my stash all that often anymore, but if I need something like this, I know right where it's at. It's right there. So I think the most important thing that I'm trying to say here is that I store these things this way because this is what works for me, and it's how I think when I'm scrapbooking. And so everybody needs to find a storage solution that works for them, that's going to facilitate using up their products. So here's the second drawer that I have, and this one has more of the same kind of storage. Oh, here's my empty one. I knew I had an empty one. So more of the same kind. I've got the Studio Calico Heyday. I've got Jilly Bean Chilled Cucumber Soup, which has a really specific color combination of this green and blue with a creamy background. It's almost October Afternoon-ish. and then crepe paper, neutrals, and text cutouts. This somebody sent me these, so I want to make sure that I use them, so I put them in their own container with a label. I do have an empty one, and then I have all kinds of really old chipboard stickers that I'm not sure that I'm ever going to want to use, but I'm not ready to give them up quite yet. I think these are Jelly Bean Soup corrugated cardboard pieces. And that's it. So this is sort of older stuff that I don't use quite as much. I would like to put these with these so I can remember them, but my current storage system just doesn't allow me to do that. So that's the way I've got it. And now I'll show you that, that other unit. Okay, so here's this unit that I was just showing you. I actually went ahead and added the 6th drawer while I was off camera. This is the drawer where I keep my Scraptastic leftover die cuts. And this I used to keep someplace else, but since I renovated, I kind of changed up how I keep that area over there that I just showed you. And now there's room for one more drawer. It used to be that there wasn't enough room where I was keeping this. So I just went ahead and added the 6th drawer. So now this is a 2 3-drawer units that I just, what I did was I just you just take it off. These are really cheaply made and they kind of fall apart pretty easily. And so you just take this off, and then each of these leg units come off easily too. And the more you take them off, the more easily they come off. So the first time that you take them off, it takes a little bit of prying and being careful to not break anything. But you know, they do become loose when you take them apart. So that's something that I'll just warn you about. If you want them to stay nice and tight, you might not want to take them apart a whole lot, but I take them apart to rearrange things all the time. And it doesn't really affect the overall ability of it to store my stuff. It's just sometimes it falls apart. If I were to pick it up by this, for example, some of the pieces might fall apart. So when I move it, I always try to hold it by the bottom drawers. That's the only thing. So, and these 3-drawer units, so I have this as a leftover piece. I just thought I'd show you that. These 3-drawer units, which I have stacked, I got this one at Canadian Tire, but you can get them at any of your kind of like low-end department stores like Walmart or Target or whatever places you have near you. So I have them all labeled with my label maker. I ran out of room on my label maker, ran out of paper for that one. So it says Scraptastic, die cuts that are vellum, die cuts, frames from crepe paper, frames, and overlays. So I'm just going to take out each drawer and show you what I've got in it. This is where I keep my leftover Scraptastic die cut pieces. So these includes both the Ormolu cut aparts, and sometimes there are Ellie Studio cut aparts or other kinds of cut aparts too. So I just put them all in here, as well as these die cut words here. And then that one was on like a gold vellum. And so anything that's from the Scraptastic kits that's left over, there's also these little tags that came with one of the Project Life kits, or one of the This Life Noted kits. And I didn't use them, but they're really, really cute, so I want to use them. So this is kind of my backup Scraptastic stuff. And you'll notice that there's not a whole lot of leftovers in here. There would be, but I make it a habit of going through and giving away the leftovers that I haven't been using. So once this gets like another month worth, I'll take all of these out and just put them in a giveaway pile and give them away. I have a friend who comes over to scrapbook with me, and she gets a lot of my leftovers, and sometimes I'll put them in a giveaway pile and do like a YouTube giveaway or something for those. Because basically the reason I give them away is I don't want to hold on to them so long that they're not fresh and trendy anymore. So if I'm not going to use them, I just want to make sure that somebody uses them while they're still fun to use, and I don't want to accumulate a whole bunch of stuff and then have leftovers 2 years from now that nobody wants anymore. So that's what's in my Scraptastic drawer. Then in this drawer, which says Die Cuts Vellum, there's some stuff in here that isn't vellum, but it's mostly, these are from when I used to belong to the Studio Calico Club, and they sent a ton of these vellum speech bubbles and arrows, and then arrows that are on cork and that sort of thing. There's also some transparency pieces in here that belong with basic gray stuff. And then these are some labels and arrows that Brittany sent me. She's Crafty Buns on YouTube and Instagram. And I love her work, and she sent me some of these, which was really sweet of her. I think they're cut, and they're print and cut files from the Cameo, I think. I could be wrong. I don't know for sure. So I have those, and I rarely use those. The kits come with so much stuff in them that I don't find myself reaching into my scraps very often. Then in this drawer, I keep a bunch of stuff from No Small Wonder on Etsy. She sent me a whole bunch of die cut pieces, and some of them are like layered, intricate flowers and embellishments that are handmade with buttons and whatnot on them. And some of them are just die cuts or punched shapes. And she has an Etsy shop, as I mentioned, and you can purchase shapes, which is kind of nice if you don't want to invest in punches and dies, to be able to just get an assortment of little embellishments that are handmade, or just the punches if that's what you prefer. I really like the feathers, and I really like the leaves too. And she sent me a ton of stuff, and so I've got lots. I've already shared some of them with somebody, and I don't know what that's doing in there. She also sent me some of these little buttons and wooden pieces. So I just keep them here so I remember I have them, because the things that are out on my desktop are the things I'm the most likely to draw from when I'm scrapbooking. Then this is my drawer of crepe paper frames. So I have these canvas frames that are from, they're a couple of partial packs. They're leftovers from, I think they're all from Maggie Holmes. I think they're from 2 different packages of Maggie Holmes canvas frames, and I just absolutely love them, and they're so much fun to work with. So I have those there. And then I also have these crepe paper frames that are chipboard, and they're just this really nice, creamy, beautiful finish frames. And I think they're from the Pier. And they come in 3 or 4 different sizes, so I just keep them in there too. And these are my very favorite frames. These would be top shelf frames if they were on a shelf. They're the ones that I would choose from first for having an interesting frame that's going to be a part of the design element. And then in the next drawer, I have less interesting frames, and these would be more the kinds of frames that just kind of frame things and blend in, and they don't make such a big statement on their own. So some of these are from Jilly Bean, some of these I made with my Cameo, some of them are from Pink Paisley. Oh, I also have some of these. These are my absolutely favorite. I only have 3 of them left. These are Heidi Swap Instagram frames, and they actually look like an Instagram, like they've got kind of, not Instagram, they look like Polaroids. They've got like a crumpled Polaroid frame type of look to them. They're really cool. And then more, I think these are Jilly Bean or Jenny Bolin, I can't quite remember. And then somebody sent me some stamped frames, and I've already used a couple of them, but there's 2 left over, so I just put them in there. So that's what's in that. And then in my bottom drawer, I have a bunch of partial packages of overlays. And we got overlays, we got a couple of complete packages of overlays in some of our kits, and then I also got partial packages from some kits and that sort of thing. So I've got a whole bunch of these. I have used them, but so many come in a package that it's really hard to use them all up. So I just leave my leftovers here so that I can remember that I have them. So there are 2 other ways that I store or have stored my die cuts that I just wanted to share with you guys really briefly. One thing that I was doing when I had far fewer supplies to deal with, when it was a little bit easier to keep on top of my supplies, I used to put, using temporary adhesive, I would put these sorts of little finicky die cuts that are strange shapes and little circles and squares and tags and that sort of thing on these cards. I really loved having these this way. Some of these are leftovers from some Studio Calico kits. Some of these are from Ellie's Studio. Some of them are from Evalicious and Studio Calico kit leftovers and all of that sort of thing. These are all the ones in the back are Studio Calico kit leftovers. I've got like a ton of them. I really should give away, I should put some of these in a giveaway pile. But Anyhow, this was, if you don't have a ton of stuff, this is a really good way to store some die cut pieces because you can just kind of flip through. If you don't have 4,000 cards like this, it's easy to just kind of flip through and see what you have and pick what you want. And because they're on there with temporary adhesive, they just pop off really easily. And I really enjoyed storing my die cuts this way, and I would still be storing them this way if I didn't just have way too many. But anyhow, so that's just an idea that I thought I would share with you. Once I got to the point that I had so many, I basically had to stop doing this. But it is, I really love this way of storing them. It really worked well for me. And I used to use these all the time. And I used to use them, and then I would consolidate and move the cards to the back, the empty cards. And it really worked for me. And obviously I have 2 more packages of these that are old now that I put in here. I didn't get a chance to put them on cards because it got to the point that it was like, I'm not going to keep putting these on cards. So that is, if you don't have a ton of embellishments, that might be a good idea for you. And then another way that I store little die cut things, and this is something that I'm going to talk about in a little bit more detail when I talk about pocketed scrapbooking, because these are all things that I draw from for my pocketed scrapbooking, but I do have in the front here are some die cut pieces. And so I have a whole bunch of these sassafras cards that I just can't bear to get rid of because I loved sassafras so much. And I will never use these on scrapbook pages. So I don't know why I'm holding on to them because they're just not something that goes with the style that I scrapbook anymore. But oh, I can't get rid of them. They're too cute. So there's a whole bunch of those that I have. More for sentimental value than anything else. And then these are, actually, go in my Scraptastic. I was doing this with these, but then I got tired of that and put them this way. What else have I got in here? These are printables. They're either free printables that I printed up, and some of these are Ellie's Studio. So these ones here are all Ellie's Studio or Avalicious. I can't remember which. Yeah, these are Avalicious. Although I recognize that as Ellie's Studio. So it's a combination of both. And I used to put them in these tags, in these little clips, well I still do, by kind of like the size and the shape so that I can know what I have. Because a lot of times when I'm looking for something, I'm looking for a certain size or shape, or I'm looking for a certain color, so I can just kind of flip through and see what I have, and they don't go all over the place. And then these are some free printables that I printed at Staples, and I added a couple of other pieces there that weren't free printables. And again, I can just kind of flip through and find the piece that I'm looking for. And I did it again with this. These were some more of those free printables that were just a different shape, so I put them in a different clip. And then here's a bunch more little label type die cuts from Ellie's Studio. And I can just, and there's a couple of free printables in there too. And again, I can just kind of flip through, whoops, they go flying, and pick out the ones that I need. And I have a bunch of these banners they go in my Scraptastic drawer now. And more long, thin ones. And I'm not going to talk about tags and envelopes because I'm talking about that in a different video. But actually, maybe I'll just merge the two into one here. Another set of those Ellie's Studio circle things and more little tags and stuff. Oh, these are numbers. That's why they're all in order. Yeah, I think these were numbered for a December daily type of a project, but I didn't use them for that, so I have a bunch of numbers, probably up to 31. Yep. And then some more cut apart. So basically when I cut things apart, I just put them in a little clip and hang on to them, and then I can see what I have. I have another, this Craft and Kate sent me these Pretty Little Studios number tags. I never did get a chance to use them. I'm waiting for a project that's gonna be like a daily type of project, but I haven't done one yet, so I'm just hanging on to them for now. So those are all my die cuts, and then along the same lines as die cuts are tags, so I guess I'll talk about tags. These, because I keep them in this thing, and then I'll tell you what the thing is. These are Martha Stewart tags that I got at Staples. There's just a whole bunch of them, and they're cute for just putting on little projects. And then these are also Martha Stewart, and they just have the silver frames on them. And then I keep all of my tags from small to big right here. So these would be all my tags that have holes in them, including some of these decorated Amy Tangerine tags from one of her older collections, I think now. I never used any of them, but the package didn't use any of them. Isn't that great? And then even like these little things here, I just put them with my tags because they're tag-like. If you punched a hole and put a string on it, it becomes a tag. So I have wood veneer tags here and little he said, she said, today I type of cards. I've got white medium-sized tags. I've got a bunch of these Jenny Bolin bingo cards. I don't know why I still have those. And then some other tags I bought from Etsy. These gray ones, they're almost gone. And some pink ones. I don't have a ton of tags, but I have enough. I've been reaching for tags more lately because I'm making cards. And then some tags that I stamped way back years and years ago when I first started scrapbooking. I got some tags and I made all these, and I still have them just because, I don't know, I never did use them. And then I keep all of my little envelopes right here. Some of them I bought and some of them came, like this one for example, something came in this, you can tell because it's got staple marks, but it still makes a cute little see-through layer. I don't use these bags as often as I should. These are glassine and some of them are like just really thin paper that are lined. So I keep all of these right here, and even these little envelopes here that people sent me stuff in, I think. Yeah, I've got like, yeah, I did some stamping on that one, and yeah, so just miscellaneous envelopes here. And then I have some of those Alison Craft fold over cards. I don't know why they're here, but they don't fit anywhere else, so that's why they're here. Then these I bought at that store in New York. What's it called again? Muji? Yeah, I bought these at Muji in New York. And they're just little tiny envelopes that I love. And then these are like tear apart pre-cut envelope shapes. They're also from Muji. I love that store. Oh, I love that store. Then these are little coin envelopes from maybe Seven Gypsies, maybe? Some other little pocketed envelope-y things from My Road and from Studio Calico, some pockets and snap and some Tim Holtz tags and some larger bags that don't fit in the other slots. And some more tall things that don't fit in the slots. And then I have some library cards here that I got from Etsy. I think I have envelopes to go with those, but I don't know where they are. A little tiny paper bag. So this thing was supposed to be bags and tags, but it turns out being bags and tags and some miscellaneous die cuts that I might use for pocketed scrapbooking. And the way, what this is, let me see, I think I have another one. I'll go grab it so I can show you what it looks like empty. I have empty ones of both of these, so I can show you what I did. So these are those modular storage things from Martha Stewart. That's what it looks like on the back. The home office collection, and it's from Martha Stewart and Avery together. And ooh, there's a number 2 stamp that's probably missing from something. Oh, it's acrylic. I think I got rid of all my acrylic stamps. So anyhow, what I did was I just put these two together, and what I used to hold them is two of these 3M command strips. So I just took them off like this and stuck it right there and stuck it right there, and that way it's not permanent, so if I ever want to take them apart, all I have to do is pull on that strip and they come apart without leaving any residue on either piece and without ripping the paper finish on either piece. But it does make them quite sturdy. Like I'm holding this by this one and this is not falling off even though it's got lots of stuff in it, and it just has the little flap sticks out right there, and I can't really turn it too much without having everything fall out of it, but there's the command strip sticking out right there. So I just give that a tug and that'll come right off. So that's what that looks like, and I just keep it in a little shelf that's up on my wall. And then this is just a little Vinylmation tin. I collect Vinylmation from Disney, and I just keep it where it fits. It's out on my counter over by my thicker storage. And that is how I store my die cuts and chipboard and little pieces of paper.